chapter 1059 of the manga, we discovered something incredible. The Seraphim, a special weapon created by the genius Vegapunk. They are a type of pacifista, but far more powerful. They appear as children and combine the DNA of legendary pirates with that of the Lunarians, a super resistant and rare race. These new pacifistas are so strong that they surpass anything we could have imagined before. Here's where the theory begins. Could the five elders, the mysterious leaders of the world government, have ordered Vegapunk to create a Luffy clone as part of the Seraphim project? So far, we've seen that these clones are made from the DNA of famous pirates, especially the former warlords of the sea, the Seven Great Corsairs. This was possible because of a contract between the pirates and the world government. But could this contract have stopped the five elders from asking Vegapunk to use the same process with other pirates? Like Luffy? Luffy, with his Gomu Gomu no Mi fruit, is a significant threat to the Celestial Dragons and their plans. After all, this isn't just any fruit, it's the fruit of the Sun God, Nika. For over 800 years, the Celestials have tried to keep this fruit away from anyone who could awaken its true power. They feared that someone, like Joy Boy in the past, might bring back the spirit of freedom and justice that the Sun God represents. The awakening of this fruit only happened now, with Luffy, and it terrified the world government. The most curious part is that Luffy himself had no idea of the true power he carried, but the government knew, and it seems Vegapunk also had an idea about it. During the crew's 2-year training, Frankie came across Vegapunk's blueprints, where the Gomu Gomu no Mi was illustrated. More recently, Vegapunk talked about this fruit and mentioned an ancient encyclopedia. While we don't know exactly when he accessed this information, it's clear he understood this fruit was special, even before realizing it was a legendary Zoan. With all these clues, it's possible that Vegapunk was forced to continue studying the Gomu Gomu no Mi, perhaps without knowing it was connected to Joy Boy, and that its awakening would mean the downfall of Imu, the mysterious leader of the world government. Moreover, the concept of the Seraphim might have originated because of Luffy. Looking at the timeline, we can see that Vegapunk was already working for the Navy when Shanks and his crew stole the fruit that was being transported by CP9. It seems the five elders wanted this fruit to be studied by Vegapunk to understand and possibly control its power. When Luffy ended up eating the fruit, they needed a new plan. Thus, the idea of cloning the fruit's power or creating a substitute emerged, leading to the Pacifista Project and later the Seraphim Project. All of this shows that Luffy's awakening was far more important than it seemed and might have completely altered the world government's plans. Now, with these Seraphim in action, the question remains, could a Luffy clone be among them? We'll have to wait and see what more this incredible story reveals. Vegapunk is an amazing scientist, known for his groundbreaking inventions. He achieved something almost magical, recreating the powers of devil fruits. Using a substance called green blood, he replicated the powers of paramecia-type fruits in the clones he created. But beyond that, he also managed to copy the power of a Zoan fruit, like the one Momonosuke ate, which turned him into a dragon. Now, here's an interesting doubt. Did Vegapunk tell the whole truth about green blood? What if he made up this story to protect the most dangerous secrets of his creations, such as the Sun God's powers, which are so terrifying to the Celestial Dragons? This raises another intriguing question. Why haven't we seen a Luffy clone yet? If he's so important, what's happening behind the scenes? So far, we don't know exactly how powerful Vegapunk's clones are. They've only appeared recently in the story, just over 60 chapters ago, and we have few clues about their abilities. But it's already been suggested that they are so powerful they could challenge the three powers the world government, the Yonko, and the revolutionary armies. And the biggest question is, could they awaken the true potential of a devil fruit just like Luffy did with his? What makes everything even more dangerous is imagining what would happen if the world government tried to create its own version of the Sun God. Luffy awakened the power of the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, which is feared by the Celestial Dragons because it is linked to the legend of Joy Boy. This power is not just special, it's revolutionary. For 800 years, no one had managed to awaken the true potential of this fruit until Luffy, and that sent the world government into a panic. The awakening of Nika grants Luffy powers that go beyond the ordinary, something the world's leaders deeply fear. If Vegapunk or another scientist with access to his research were forced to recreate this fruit, the risk would be enormous. They wouldn't just create one of the world's most feared powers, they would also attempt to control or even neutralize Nika's strength. But there's a problem for the government. Copying the fruit's power isn't enough. What truly makes Luffy a threat is the fruit's awakening, and that might not be something even Vegapunk could replicate. Even with all the technology behind the Seraphim already powerful clones based on great pirates, creating a clone with the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, would be useless without the awakening. Only Joy Boy and Luffy have managed to reach that stage, and that's what makes the Sun God so special. Now, imagine something even more terrifying. If the world government found a way to force Nika's awakening and gave that power to a celestial dragon or a clone, they would create a devastating weapon. It wouldn't just be an ordinary pirate with incredible powers, it would be the reincarnation of a force that defies everything the government has tried to control for centuries. In this scenario, the Sun God would be turned into an instrument of destruction in the hands of those who fear its power the most. This would be the world's worst nightmare. If the world government could control this power, the balance of forces across the world would be shattered. They could use Nika's power to suppress every revolution, extinguishing the hope that Luffy and Joy Boy represent. But this weapon could also spiral out of control, bringing terrible consequences for everyone, even the creators of this threat. After all, playing with the power of the Sun God is like trying to control destiny itself, something even the world government cannot predict or dominate. Vegapunk is a scientific genius, but even he would face a significant challenge in recreating Luffy and the incredible power of the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. That's because even if the cloning process were completed, the fruit would be useless without the awakening, which is the true source of the Sun God's power. This awakening, as we've seen, is what makes Luffy such a significant threat to the world government, and it's something no one has been able to achieve in the last 800 years, except possibly Joy Boy before him. If a Luffy clone does exist in the future, it will likely only appear after many years or some advanced experiment that simulates the exact conditions for awakening. After all, without the awakening, the powers of the Sun God would remain incomplete, and the threat to the world government would be much smaller. The celestial dragons fear these powers more than anything else, though the exact reason for this hasn't been clearly revealed yet. We know they never imagined Luffy would be able to awaken the fruit, and this was an unexpected blow that shook the balance of power in the world. Another interesting point is that if a Luffy clone is ever created, it's unlikely that Vegapunk was the one who initiated the process. He never mentioned this project to the Five Elders, even though he has the technology and knowledge to do so. This suggests that if a clone does exist, it could be the work of another scientist, someone who accessed Vegapunk's research and technology. This possibility is quite plausible since we've seen Frankie, a brilliant engineer, use Vegapunk's notes in the past to create and improve technologies that Vegapunk himself had only theorized. So it's possible that other brilliant minds working for the Celestial Dragons are using Vegapunk's legacy to attempt to recreate Nika's powers. All of this leads us to believe that even if a Luffy clone might exist in the future, now is not the right time for it to appear. There are too many obstacles to its revelation, despite the Celestial Dragon's fear of the Sun God's power. Additionally, in the current manga storyline, Luffy is facing the Five Elders directly, and the plot is focused on how he will handle this confrontation. But what about you? What do you think of all these theories? Do you believe the Sun God can really be cloned? Could Nika's powers be used as a way to try to defeat Luffy? Share your opinion in the comments, and if you've read this far, write clone Joy Boy to show you made it to the end. And that's it for today's video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this trip through New Marineford. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment below telling us what caught your attention the most. We love hearing your opinions. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, share it with your crew, and stay tuned for the next videos. Until then, keep exploring the seas in search of adventure. See you next time!